If you want to know whether your blood sugar is secretly damaging your body while you sleep, don't look at what you ate for breakfast. Don't look at your lunch. Look at one thing: your fasting glucose the moment you wake up. Because here is what most people do not know. Your blood sugar does not spike only from what you eat. It spikes from what your liver does while you are asleep. Around 3 to 4 a.m., your liver dumps glucose into your bloodstream. It is called the dawn phenomenon. And for millions of adults over 50, that hidden overnight release is quietly pushing their A1C higher month after month without them ever feeling a thing. By the time fasting glucose hits the pre-diabetic range of 100 to 125 milligrams per deciliter, your pancreas has already lost approximately 40 to 50% of its beta cell function. You do not feel it, you do not see it, but it is happening. There is one drink, a single ingredient you likely have in your kitchen right now, that has been shown in peer-reviewed clinical trials to lower waking glucose by 4 to 6% and reduce A1C by over 1 full percentage point in 8 weeks. I am going to show you exactly how it works, what dose to take, and the critical mistakes that neutralize every benefit. Most people believe that high blood sugar is strictly about what you eat. Cut the sugar, cut the carbs, take your medication, and if your numbers are still high, you just need more medication or stricter willpower. But after 20 years in emergency medicine, I watched something that forced me to rethink that belief entirely. I treated patients who were doing everything right, eating carefully, taking their metformin, and they were still coming in with fasting glucose readings above 140. Their post-meal sugars were reasonable, but their morning numbers were a disaster, and nobody could explain why. I am Dr. Lina. In the ER, I saw the end stage of this hidden process: the strokes, the amputations, the kidney failure, the vision loss that I now believe were preceded by years of unrepaired nighttime glucose mismanagement. The problem was not that these patients were not trying. The problem was that nobody told them about the overnight window. What I am going to share with you is not opinion or anecdote. It is mechanistic, peer-reviewed science published in journals like Diabetes Care and confirmed by a 2025 meta-analysis published in Frontiers in Nutrition covering hundreds of participants across multiple controlled trials. In this video, I am going to show you the specific drink that reduces overnight glucose production, the 3 mechanisms inside your body that this drink targets while you sleep, the exact clinical studies, including the Arizona State University trial that shocked the diabetes world and the 2025 meta-analysis that confirmed it, the precise dose, timing, and preparation method that maximizes results and protects your teeth, the 4 mistakes I have watched patients make that silently undo every benefit, and the 1 biomarker you should track instead of your morning weight to know if this is working. Quick favor before we dive into the science. If you are finding value in these videos, would you take 2 seconds to double-check that you are subscribed? The algorithm has been unpredictable lately, and I do not want you to miss the videos I am making specifically for viewers over 50. It is free, it takes a moment, and it genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this information. Let us start with what is actually happening inside your body. Most people picture high blood sugar as a pipe that is overflowing because too much sugar is coming in. But that is wrong. Your body is better understood as a factory with 2 shifts. During the day, shift 1 processes what you eat. That is post-meal glucose. But at night, shift 2 takes over. Your liver. Your liver stores glucose during the day in the form of glycogen, and it releases a slow, steady trickle overnight to keep your brain and organs fed while you sleep. Here is the problem. As we age past 50, the dispatch center that tells the liver how much glucose to release starts losing its sensitivity. The volume knob gets stuck. Instead of a slow trickle, your liver starts dumping glucose like a fire hose with a broken valve. Scientists call this hepatic glucose production, and it is the single largest contributor to high fasting blood sugar in type 2 diabetes, responsible for up to 80% of your morning reading. Think of it like a thermostat that is supposed to turn the heat off when the room reaches 70 degrees. But the thermostat is old. It is sluggish. It keeps the heat running all night. By morning, the room is 90 degrees. That is your fasting glucose. Now here is the beautiful part of this biology. The vacant receptor sites on your liver cells are not permanently broken. They are metabolically active. They respond to signals, and the right signal, delivered at the right time, can reach into that factory, turn down the volume on that fire hose, and reduce your morning glucose by a measurable, reproducible amount. The signal is acetic acid, and it comes from a drink you can prepare in under 30 seconds. Let me take you inside the cell and show you exactly how this works. 3 pathways, 3 distinct biochemical actors, each with a physical metaphor. Mechanism 1, acetic acid inhibits starch digestion, acting as the gatekeeper. The first thing this drink does happens before glucose even enters your bloodstream. Acetic acid, the active compound in vinegar, inhibits 2 key carbohydrate-digesting enzymes, alpha amylase and desacaridase. Imagine a highway toll booth. Normally, starches roll through that booth and get broken down into individual glucose molecules, which then pour into your bloodstream. Acetic acid places a barrier at that toll booth. It slows the breakdown, so glucose enters your bloodstream gradually instead of all at once. A study published in Diabetes Research and Clinical Practice pooled data across multiple trials and found that consuming vinegar with a high glycemic meal significantly reduced the glucose area under the curve, the total sugar load entering your blood. Mechanism 2. Delayed gastric emptying, the speed bump. Acetic acid also slows the rate at which food leaves your stomach and enters your small intestine. Think of your stomach as a holding tank with a release valve. Normally, after a meal, that valve opens and food moves into the small intestine where it is rapidly absorbed. Acetic acid sends a signal that tightens that valve. Food stays in the tank longer. Glucose enters the bloodstream more slowly. The insulin spike is blunted. Researchers at Lund University in Sweden demonstrated that adding vinegar to a starchy meal reduced the glycemic index of that meal by approximately 35%. That is the difference between white bread and whole grain rye from a single tablespoon of vinegar. Mechanism 3. Suppression of overnight hepatic glucose production, the night watchman. This is the mechanism that makes bedtime dosing uniquely powerful. When you consume acetic acid at night, it reaches your liver and suppresses the activity of glucose 6-phosphatase, the enzyme responsible for releasing stored glucose from your liver. Picture a night watchman at the factory who controls the main gate. Normally, as dawn approaches, the watchman starts opening the gate wider and wider, releasing stored glucose to prepare your body for waking. In people with insulin resistance, the watchman has lost his supervisor. He opens the gate too wide, too early. Acetic acid walks up to that watchman and says, "Hold the gate, not closed, just not fully open." The result was captured beautifully in a 2007 study from Arizona State University published in Diabetes Care. Researchers gave 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar to participants with well-controlled type 2 diabetes at bedtime. The next morning, their waking glucose was 4 to 6% lower than the placebo group. A small change? Not when you multiply that by 365 days a year. Let me walk you through the specific evidence so you can see the data for yourself. Study 1, Arizona State University, 2007. Researchers led by Dr. Carol Johnston recruited participants with well-controlled type 2 diabetes. At bedtime, the intervention group consumed 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. The control group consumed water. Morning fasting glucose was 4 to 6% lower in the vinegar group. Published in Diabetes Care. Study 2. Avaz Jundishapur University of Medical Sciences, Iran, 2023. 80 participants with type 2 diabetes were randomized. The intervention group consumed 30 milliliters, approximately 2 tablespoons jars of apple cider vinegar daily for 8 weeks. Results: fasting blood glucose dropped by an average of 23 milligrams per deciliter. A1C dropped from 9.2% to 7.8%, a reduction of 1.4 percentage points. LDL cholesterol dropped by 25 milligrams per deciliter. All statistically significant. Published in BMC Endocrine Disorders. Study 3. The 2025 meta-analysis published in Frontiers in Nutrition. 7 controlled trials, 463 participants. Apple cider vinegar reduced fasting blood sugar by a weighted mean difference of nearly 22 milligrams per deciliter. Each additional milliliter of ACV per day was associated with an additional 1.26 milligrams per deciliter reduction in fasting glucose. A1C was reduced by 1.53 percentage points. The most effective dose range was above 15 milliliters per day. Study 4. Lund University, Sweden. Adding 20 grams of vinegar to a high glycemic meal reduced the glycemic index by 35%. These are not small numbers. These are the kinds of effect sizes that pharmaceutical companies spend billions trying to replicate. And they were achieved with a fermented liquid that costs pennies per dose. Here is the exact bedtime protocol. Step 1. The dose. Take 15 milliliters to start. That is 1 tablespoon. If your stomach tolerates it well after 3 days, increase to 30 milliliters, 2 tablespoons. The 2025 meta-analysis confirmed that doses above 15 milliliters per day produce the strongest effects. Step 2. The dilution. Mix your vinegar into 200 to 250 milliliters of water, about 8 ounces. This is non-negotiable. Undiluted vinegar has a pH of approximately 2.5 to 3.0, similar to stomach acid. Drinking it straight can erode tooth enamel, irritate your esophagus, and disrupt the mucosal lining of your stomach. Dilution brings the pH to a safer level. Step 3. The timing. Consume this 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime. This aligns with the window when your liver's overnight glucose production begins to ramp up, allowing the acetic acid to reach your liver and begin suppressing glucose 6-phosphatase before the dawn phenomenon kicks in. Do not take it immediately before lying down. Give it at least 30 minutes. Step 4. The preparation rule. Use raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar that contains the mother, the cloudy, web-like sediment at the bottom of the bottle. The mother contains beneficial bacteria, enzymes, and additional polyphenols that contribute to the metabolic effect. Shake the bottle well before measuring. Avoid clear, distilled, or filtered vinegars. They lack the mother and have significantly fewer bioactive compounds. Step 5. The delivery method. Drink through a straw positioned at the back of your mouth. This minimizes contact with your teeth. After drinking, rinse your mouth with plain water. Do not brush your teeth immediately. The acid temporarily softens enamel, and brushing can accelerate erosion. Wait at least 30 minutes before brushing. Now let me give you the clinical pro tips I have gathered from nearly 2 decades of practice. Tip 1. The glucose tracking rule. Do not track your weight to measure success. Track your fasting glucose and your A1C. Weight fluctuates with hydration and hormones. Fasting glucose tells you directly whether the liver is responding. Measure your fasting glucose 3 mornings per week. If you see a consistent drop of 5 to 10 points within 2 weeks, you are responding. Tip 2. The consistency over perfection philosophy. Missing one night does not undo progress, but skipping 3 nights in a row resets the pattern. This compound works through cumulative enzyme modulation, not acute pharmacology. 8 weeks is the minimum timeline to see A1C changes. Do not judge the protocol by day 3. Judge it by week 8. Tip 3. The synergy rule. Combining this bedtime drink with a high-protein, lower-carb dinner amplifies the effect. Protein keeps glucagon in check, and lower carbohydrate intake reduces the liver's glycogen stores that feed the dawn phenomenon. Tip 4. The protective pairing. Do not take apple cider vinegar if you have gastroparesis. Delayed gastric emptying is already a problem in long-standing diabetes, and vinegar can worsen it. If you take potassium-lowering diuretics or digoxin, check with your doctor first, because shifts in potassium can occur with chronic high-dose vinegar use. Here are the 4 mistakes that silently neutralize your results. Mistake number 1. Destroying the active compound before it reaches you. Heating apple cider vinegar or boiling it with water destroys acetic acid. Do not use it in hot tea or hot water. Always use room temperature or cool water. Mistake number 2, the dairy trap. Taking apple cider vinegar with milk, cream, or yogurt buffers the acidity and reduces its effectiveness. The acetic acid needs to reach your digestive tract at full strength. Keep dairy at least 1 hour away from your vinegar dose. Mistake number 3, abandoning before the biological timeline. The Arizona State study showed results overnight because they measured fasting glucose. But A1C represents your average glucose over 8 to 12 weeks. If you check your A1C after 2 weeks and see no change, you are looking at the wrong metric. Give it the full 8 weeks. Mistake number 4, replacing whole food metabolic control with supplements alone. Apple cider vinegar is not a replacement for medication, exercise, or a balanced diet. It is an adjunct. It works best when layered on top of consistent sleep, reduced evening carbohydrates, and regular physical activity. The people who get the best results do not replace their diabetes management. They add this one tool to their existing foundation. High blood sugar is not a life sentence written in your DNA. The people who genuinely reverse prediabetes and improve their A1C are not genetically lucky. They consistently make small, biologically intelligent choices, and this bedtime drink is one of the most accessible, affordable, and evidence-supported choices available. Let me recap what we covered. 1. Your liver's overnight glucose production drives 80% of your morning blood sugar. 2. Acetic acid inhibits starch digestion, slows gastric emptying, and suppresses hepatic glucose output. 3. The 2007 Arizona State trial showed 4 to 6% lower waking glucose with bedtime vinegar. 4. The 2025 meta-analysis showed 22 milligrams per deciliter reduction in fasting glucose and 1.53 points off A1C. 5. Use 15 to 30 milliliters of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. 6. Dilute in 8 ounces of water. 7. Drink 30 to 60 minutes before bed through a straw. 8. Rinse your mouth afterward but do not brush immediately. 9. Expect results on a timeline of 8 to 12 weeks. If this video helped you understand something new about your blood sugar, share it with someone over 50 who you care about. One share from you could be the reason they finally understand why their morning numbers have been climbing. And if you want to continue this journey, watch my next video on the 3 foods I recommend my patients eat before bed to stabilize their glucose all night long. I will see you in the next one. Dr. Lina out.